We had just finished up a whole entire week of outreach and service projects in the community, and during that time we always have our kids go back to Illinois to visit their grandparents. At the last minute we made a decision that my wife Sarah would go back to pick them up instead of having them come home, which ended up being an incredible choice for us at the time.
Sarah, this is an emergency pension report off West Grand Boulevard. Please return my call for Kevin, R-A-M-B-U-S.
That evening I'd just been working on the computer, finalizing some things from our previous work that we had done in the city. It was about midnight when I finally just dozed off and remember just kind of putting the computer to the side and laying down and went to bed. At about 3 in the morning, I just remember hearing the sound of this old glass breaking or hitting the ground or something. I jumped up to my feet. My heart was racing. I was yelling as loud as I could, get out, this is my house. It was when I hit the last 2 steps. I remember making eye contact with him, and for a brief second, just looking into his eyes. There was almost a coldness, an absence of any feeling or emotions. He was just there. He didn't say anything to me initially. He just began stabbing me. Almost instantly, I began thinking about my kids, and in my mind, I was saying, I can't believe this is happening. I tried to block as many times as I can to try to block the knife stabs coming down. They hit me in the cheek and the temple and my arms, and at one point in time I was able to wrestle the knife away from him for a brief second, and it was there that I noticed the knife had somehow broke initially, and I had a large section of the knife in my hand. It ended up cutting through my thumb, and I could no longer hold it. The man ended up going and grabbing the knife again after it fell out of my hand. Finally, I fell flat on the ground thinking I was paralyzed. It was at that time that he spoke the first words to me, which he wanted to know where the keys and where the money were. I told him I didn't have any money and my keys were in the kitchen. He came back mad because he didn't find them. Asked again, where are the keys and where's the money? And I told him, please, I have 2 kids, and he simply walked back in and stabbed me a couple more times. I really began to lose hope pretty quickly. The reality was beginning to set in that I probably will never see my family again. Closing my eyes and just begin to wait and just wait for there to be no more life. At some point in time, it was like I was awakened, like shaken. And so it was at that time that I began to pray for my wife, that she would just know how much I loved her and how much I cared for her and how special she was. Began to pray for my 9-year-old daughter. Began to pray for my son, Noah. At that point in time, thought life was over, but I heard 4 words that said, they still need you. And it was at that point in time where everything changed, and I went from complete hopelessness of my life was over and was resolved to die. But it was when I heard those words, they still need you, that all of a sudden I've got to live.